With a possible recession still on the horizon and the bear market still going on, investors aren't sure which stocks to bet on. Analysts think that volatility will continue in the near future, but a summer rally could lead to gains, even if it is just due to normal seasonal changes. It goes without saying that you should keep an eye on the market and make your own decisions. Investing opportunities can come from a lot of different places, and you should keep your eyes open to find the best ones for you and avoid making any costly mistakes. Here's what you need to know if you want to buy stocks in 2022. But before we start our countdown, please subscribe to our YouTube channel and press the bell icon as well. 1. Etsy. Before the COVID-19 pandemic, Etsy was growing well by connecting crafty makers with customers who wanted to buy something a little different than the usual online shopping items. During the pandemic, online shopping went through the roof. Etsy, on the other hand, grew at more than twice the rate of e-commerce as a whole. Etsy was a natural fit for people who wanted unique face masks, but its growth in all product categories has been impressive. In the first quarter of 2022, Etsy's marketplace sales were 177% higher than they were at the same time before the pandemic. Few online stores can compete with Amazon and stay in business. Etsy didn't just keep going when Amazon launched its own platform for selling handmade items, it won. But this could still be the beginning of a great growth story over the long term. Etsy has a market opportunity worth hundreds of billions of dollars, and it has only just begun to scratch the surface. This is because of the strength of its platform and brand. And since the stock has dropped a lot during the recent downturn in growth stocks, now might be a good time for patient long-term investors to look into it. 2. Pinterest. Pinterest is an island of happiness in a social media world that has become more depressing and divided. Part of the reason for this is that Pinterest is about ideas. When people go to Pinterest, they want to think about things, not other people. Pinterest gives people visual ideas for the things they want to do, like building a dream deck, baking a birthday cake for a child, or updating their wardrobe. Even though Pinterest has a strong community and sales growth, it has been criticized for not making as much money as Facebook. This is especially true internationally, where 80% of its users are, but where only a small part of its income comes from. But we think this is a huge chance. Speaking of chances, it's also important to know that Pinterest is starting to figure out how it fits into the world of e-commerce. People go to Pinterest to look for things they might want to buy, and it just hired e-commerce expert Bill Reddy as its new CEO to help it speed up its pivot. When people are already there for suggestions, it's easy to imagine how advertising, lead generation, and product placement could go together smoothly. The company has been trying out personalized shopping feeds and recently agreed to buy the Yes, a platform for shopping in fashion. 3. Mercado Libre. Mercado Libre is often called the Amazon of Latin America, and for good reason. It is one of my favorite stocks to buy for the long term. The company runs an e-commerce marketplace that is very popular in Brazil and Argentina, two of the most populous countries in the area. But Mercado Libre is a lot more than that. It runs a platform for making payments called Mercado Pago, a logistics service called Mercado Envios, a platform for lending money to businesses, and more. In the first quarter of 2022, almost $8 billion worth of goods went through the market, and Mercado Pago handles more than $100 billion worth of goods every year. Both are getting bigger quickly. Mercado Libre isn't just the Amazon of Latin America, it's also the Amazon, PayPal, Square, Shopify, and more, all rolled into one, and it's at a much earlier stage of growth. In fact, Mercado Libre only sells 5% of what Amazon does and 8% of what PayPal does, even though it has the biggest market share in Brazil, Argentina, and other places. E-commerce and the use of cashless payments are still in their early stages, but Mercado Libre could be a big winner in the long run. 4. Block. Block, which used to be called Square, has grown from a small company that made payment processing hardware to a large financial ecosystem for businesses and people. On the merchant side, Block processed about $178 billion in payments over the last 4 quarters, and it also offers a set of related services for businesses. On the individual side, Block has the Cash App, which has tens of millions of active users and features like person-to-person money transfers, direct deposits, debit cards, the ability to buy and sell stocks in Bitcoin and much more. Block also just bought the music app Tidal and the Buy Now, Pay Later platform Afterpay. The business will only get better as its ecosystem changes. 5. Sea Limited. Sea Limited is becoming a major force in Southeast Asia very quickly. The company runs the large digital gaming platform Garenia, but its ShopPay e-commerce platform and C-Money digital payments platform are the most promising growth drivers because they are both growing quickly. In the first quarter of 2022, ShopPay's sales went up by 64% compared to the same time last year, while the new part of the business, C-Money, grew by a staggering 360%. C Limited has 3 businesses that are growing quickly and have a lot of potential. These are Garenia, ShopPay, and C-Money. It is quickly becoming the leader in all 3, both in its home region and in other key markets around the world. Even though its 2 most interesting businesses are just starting out, I think it's one of the best long-term stock investments for international exposure. 6. Shopify. Shopify runs a platform that helps businesses of all sizes sell their goods online, with a focus on giving small businesses more power. Shopify has a subscription plan for businesses that starts at $29 per month, and it also has a lot of other services that help businesses run smoothly. Shopify is a powerhouse because it makes e-commerce easy by being a one-stop shop. It now has more e-commerce sales going through its ecosystem than any other company except Amazon. But Shopify might just be getting going. In the past year, the platform made $4.8 billion in sales, but this is only a small part of its estimated $153 billion market opportunity as more retailers focus on online sales. E-commerce is still in the relatively early stages, making up less than 15% of retail sales in the US. Shares of Shopify fell sharply during the recent market downturn, making it an obvious choice for the best stock to buy in 2022. 7. Intuitive Surgical. Human hands are too shaky to do surgery as well as a robot. This general idea hasn't changed much since 2005. The Da Vinci surgical system is the clear market leader, and the razors and blades model helps it make a steady stream of income as its systems are used to do procedures. Intuitive Surgical is the leader in its field, and it has a lot of room to grow as more people use its surgical systems and as the number of procedures it can handle grows. This is especially true in many international markets, where the use of robot-assisted surgery could be a long-term growth driver for this great business for decades to come. 8. Disney. Don't let short-term political problems take your attention away. The House of Mouse is a portfolio's all-weather tires. The pandemic hurt Disney's theme parks and movies, but it helped its streaming service, Disney+, which has become a powerhouse years ahead of schedule. In 2022, people will want Disney's theme parks and movies more than ever before. The success of Disney+ has been huge. The company is doing the right thing by putting its attention on growing it and its other streaming services, Hulu and ESPN+. Disney could be the best of both, a reopening play and a business that grows because of a pandemic. Its amazing stable of intellectual property, Marvel Cinematic Universe, Star Wars, ESPN, Pixar, and Disney, and cash machine theme park business give it a margin of safety that makes it possibly the safest stock on this list. And as new parts of its business grow, it still has a lot of room to grow. 9. Berkshire Hathaway. Most of the stocks on this list are growth stocks, but this one is the most boring value pick. Berkshire Hathaway owns about 60 subsidiary companies, some of which are well-known brands like Geico, Duracell, and Dairy Queen, to name just a few. Berkshire also owns a portfolio of common stocks worth almost $330 billion. This portfolio includes large stakes in Apple, Bank of America, Chevron, American Express, Coca-Cola, and dozens of other companies, many of which were chosen by legendary investor Warren Buffett. Buffett's critics will say that he has lost his fastball, but Berkshire still beats the market most years even though it is so big. Berkshire would be the largest actively managed mutual fund in the world if it were a mutual fund. Buffett will not always be in charge. But Berkshire is his legacy, and he has been protecting it from stress for years to make sure it will be in good shape after he's no longer in charge. He has shown his faith by buying back shares at a record rate with his partner Charlie Munger. That's a good sign for long-term investors like us who have patience. 10. Amazon. Most people don't think Amazon needs much of a pitch to get their attention. With about $600 billion in annual gross merchandise sales, the company has a strong lead in the US e-commerce market. Its Amazon Web Services cloud platform is also a market leader. But there is more room for growth than you might think. We are still a long way from making the most of e-commerce. It still makes up less than 15% of all retail sales in the US. The cloud business is also not very old. Amazon also has a lot of potential in other areas, like healthcare, grocery stores, neighborhood markets, and more. So, that's it for today. We hope you enjoyed the video. Tell us what you think about the video in the comments section below. Also, make sure to subscribe to our channel and click the bell button to get updates when we post new videos.